Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, in today's episode, we're taking a look at Alliant Credit Union. Don't worry, I know it's a credit union, but there are plenty of ways for you to get into this no matter where you live in the country. And don't write it off just yet because they have one of the more, interesting cashback cards with potentially the highest earning rate out there for a catch-all card. However, it comes with a price. So, of course, we will take a look at Alliant, talk more about this credit card and everything you need to know to figure out if it's worth it adding it to your cashback setup. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. So, typical fashion here. Alliant, as they are a credit union, we will learn a little bit more about them. Then we will talk about, membership, the card itself, and then we'll work out if what the catch is exactly and is it worth it. So, Alliant Credit Union. Now, they were founded way back in 1935 as United Airlines employee by United Airlines employees, as so they called it United Airlines Employees Credit Union. Now, how did it become Alliant? Well, they changed to Alliant in 2003 when they ended up opening up to 27 additional organizations, headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. Again, they're about the 9th largest credit union, about $14 billion in assets, 600,000 members, and weirdly enough for credit unions, they don't have any physical branches. Like maybe in Chicago, but around the country they don't, even though they are open to quite a few organizations overall. So again, with credit unions, remember I have a full video on credit unions I'll link down below for you, but again, remember credit unions, as we see with the United Airlines employees examples, credit unions, it's okay for them to almost discriminate in a sense, right? Credit unions are usually locally based, and they are to support specific employers or organizations or groups or counties, things like that. That's why the history, you see them founded for United Airlines, and then overall they expand to bring in these organizations. And now that is good for us because, again, your credit union, you have to become a member. And a member requires a few things. Number one, there's going to be a membership shares account, which is usually $5, which stays on deposit with the credit union for your time at the credit union. And then there's, actual eligibility, which is usually they say live, work, or worship in, a region they support, or be a member of one of these organizations. So if you put on the membership slide here, we can see what we're talking about. Are you a current or retired employee from one of the many business organizations Alliant partners with? I will link the full list down below for you. We don't need to run through all 27 of them here. Our domestic partner or immediate family member or current Alliant member live, work in one of the communities near corporate headquarters in Chicago. So again, I guess they don't have branches in Chicago, just corporate headquarters. Or number 5, which is probably the one you want, become a member of Foster Care to Success and become eligible for an Alliant membership. Now, Alliant will pay the one-time membership fee of $5 as well, which is actually pretty nice. So I myself was a member at some point for a bank bonus, no doubt. We'll talk about it because that bank bonus does become relevant later. So I live in Michigan, so not about 4 hours away from Chicago, 4.5, depending on how fast you drive. So I can definitely say yes, this is basically nationwide if you are interested. So that is the membership piece, and that's going to be important as well. So let's get to the part of why you're here, the cards. Now technically there's 2 cards. We'll talk about both of them because I like to do complete videos on the full card catalogs. But what are we talking about here? Well, the primary one is going to be a cashback card when we talk about redemptions. So redemptions are going to be statement credits or deposit into an Alliant account, which works because you have to have an Alliant account to be a member anyways, even if you just wanted the credit card. Now, there's a minimum redemption of $50, and the points or cashback do expire after 5 years, which I'm generally not a fan of, and that is a little bit weird for a credit union because generally credit unions are supposed to be super friendly and on your side. Granted, 5 years is a long time, but it shouldn't be a problem because, again, it's cashback, and I do like to redeem my cashback at the end of each year, but just keep that in mind. So overall, the cards themselves, again, there are 2 of them. You'll never guess the first one is going to be a platinum card, and you know how I feel about the name platinum, but they all have it. So this is the Visa Platinum card. No annual fee. Multipliers here, there's none to be had. Benefits, this is your classic 0% intro APR for 12 months on purchases and balance transfers. That's not why we're here. Why we're here is for the Alliant Visa Signature card. It is a black. It looks like it will be metal. I don't know if it's metal though. So annual fee, there is none. Multipliers here, they break up into 2 tiers. All right, so the first tier, tier number 1, you could get 2.5x back on all purchases up to $10,000 in spend per month, which is actually very generous. But you need to do 3 things. 1, obviously you're going to have an account with them. You have to be getting e-statements. You have to have one deposit per month. We'll talk about all this in more detail in a second. And a $1,000 minimum balance in a checking account. Now, Tier 2 rewards, which would happen if you don't meet Tier 1 or if you spend more than 10 grand in a month, would be 1.5x on all purchases. And then the benefits here, there are no foreign transaction fees. So overall, let's focus on Tier 1 because that's why we're here. So again, you're going to open up a membership shares account. Even if you just want the credit card, you're going to have to become a member of the credit union. You do that by opening a membership shares account. Now, the usual sign-up bonus that they usually have here is like for the first 100 days of having this credit card, you'll qualify for Tier 1 rewards no matter what. So it's basically the first 3 months, which is nice that they do 100 days because that works out like the week or so it takes to ship you the card. So I thought that was pretty thoughtful of them. Again, I normally don't mention sign-up bonuses because, if you're watching this in the future, then it might, so just double check that to make sure. Now, number 2, again, you're going to have a deposit. Now, luckily enough, they don't specify direct deposit. They just say a deposit. So you can ACH money over from, Bank of America to this account. So what you could do is very simply is you can automate that. So from like other accounts I have when I do the bank account bonus hunting thing, a lot of times you can go in and you can say, like I'm in my Ally account, and you say, hey, I want to set up 12 reoccurring transfers on the first of every month going forward they don't even give an amount, so it could technically be like $5, $10, whatever. Do that and then send the money right back to yourself when it posts. You could do that automated, not that big of a deal. So the one here that really is the hang up is that $1,000 minimum balance that you have to keep in the account. And that's kind of why they're able to, in my opinion, pay out such high rates, because you're basically, everyone locks up $1,000, and we'll do the math in a second, then I'm not losing so much money. Now, it's unfortunate you can't put it in a savings account. It has to be in a checking account. They do specify that. So if you take a look at their, they call it a high yield checking account, but again, at the time of taping, this is not very high yield. I just opened a Marcus by Goldman Sachs account for a bank account bonus, and it gave me like 4.3% for the first 90 days. So not high rates at all. However, since you have to be here, we've talked about bank account bonuses already, they partner with Susie Orman, and they run this awesome opportunity promotion. Now, again, they run this thing all the time, and there's some different variations of it. So even if you're watching this in the future, I would still check. But essentially what you do is you open this up, and then you have to deposit $100. Again, it's a savings account, but you have to deposit $100, per month for 12 months, and they'll give you another $100. Now, again, you don't need a savings account to do the credit card, but if you're going to be there, you might as well take a little bit more of their money anyways. So the last part here is the math and figuring out if this is worth it. So again, math pretty simple. We'll put it on screen. If you spent $10,000 at 2.5x, that's $250 a month. You multiply it by 12, you're looking at $3,000 in cash back a year. So realistically, there's two people watching this. Some people will have many, many credit cards, and so as a result, you're not going to come anywhere close, usually, to spending 10 grand on this card in a month. Other people may just want 1 or 2 cards, and they will spend significantly more on this card. And so that kind of dictates where you land. Now, if you're like me, and you have a ton of 5%, 4% cards, then I think over time, the $1,000 you'll make it up, but it's probably not worth it given the opportunity cost of what else you could do with $1,000 and how little amount of spend you're probably going to put on this card, again, depending on how aggressive you play the game. But if you're in the other camp, you're like, hey, I just want one card, or you already bank with them. If you already bank with them, then yeah, you should probably just get this card because $1,000 in your checking account isn't that big of a deal. Then I think it's, potentially interesting. Overall, I don't think the requirements are that ridiculous, considering that one of them is e-statements, one of them is easily automatable, and then $1,000, you will earn your money back over time. Again, it would take 4 months of maxing it out to earn your $1,000 back. So you could also line this up, with some large purchases over time and probably come out on top. So I think this is one to consider, but you're just going to have to run the opportunity cost from your current setup. How much money do you reasonably think you're going to put on this card in a year's time versus what else would you do with that $1,000? But again, you would make your money back. Plus, if you do the sign-up bonus, that's $100 off of that 1,000 right there. Yes, it does take a little bit of time to pay out, but still. So overall, that has been Alliant. Overall, for a credit union, I think it's pretty interesting, for the right person. So, of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel, so we're posting content just like this every week. Of course, we're right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, if you have this card, sound off down below. How do you like it? How much spend do you run through in a month? How do you like Alliant? If you're on the fence about it, let me know what your thoughts are after this. Love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and talk to you very soon in the next one.